Why overthinking destroys happiness. It is late at night. The world is quiet. The streets are empty. The lights in most houses are already off. But somewhere, someone is still awake. Not because they want to be, but because their mind refuses to rest. Their thoughts keep replaying conversations from the past, mistakes they made years ago, words they wish they had never said, or words they wish they had said but never did. And the strange thing is, nothing is actually happening in that moment, yet the mind keeps creating storms out of silence. This is the invisible prison called overthinking. Overthinking does not solve problems, it multiplies them. It steals peace from the present moment and replaces it with imaginary worries about the past and future. And slowly, quietly, it begins to destroy happiness. Tonight, let us talk about why overthinking traps so many minds and how it silently steals the joy of life. The mind that never stops. The human mind is powerful. It can imagine the future. It can remember the past. It can solve complex problems. But sometimes, the same mind becomes our greatest enemy. Overthinkers replay moments like a broken record. Why did I say that? What if they misunderstood me? What if I made the wrong decision? What if everything goes wrong? Instead of living life once, they live every moment 100 times inside their head. But each replay becomes more painful than the last. Overthinking turns simple situations into endless mental battles. A small mistake becomes a lifelong regret. A small doubt becomes a terrifying possibility. And slowly, the mind becomes exhausted, not from reality, but from imagination. Overthinking creates problems that do not exist. One of the biggest lies overthinking tells us is this: if I think about it long enough, I will find the perfect answer. But life rarely works that way. Overthinking does not lead to clarity, it leads to confusion. You begin with one question, then 10 more appear, then 20, then suddenly your mind is creating problems that never existed in the first place. A delayed message from a friend becomes, maybe they're upset with me, maybe I offended them, maybe they no longer care about me. But the truth could be simple, maybe they were just busy. Overthinking fills the empty spaces of life with unnecessary fear, and fear is the enemy of happiness. Overthinking destroys the present moment. Happiness lives in the present moment, but overthinking drags the mind into two dangerous places, the past and the future. When you think too much about the past, you feel regret. When you think too much about the future, you feel anxiety. And when your mind lives in regret and anxiety, you miss the only moment that truly exists, right now. You might be sitting with friends, but your mind is replaying yesterday's mistake. You might be watching a sunset, but your mind is worrying about tomorrow. Life keeps moving forward, but the overthinking mind stays stuck. Overthinking creates emotional exhaustion. Overthinking is like running a marathon inside your mind, except there is no finish line. The mind keeps asking questions, the heart keeps feeling stress, and the body slowly becomes tired. People who overthink often feel exhausted even when they did nothing physically demanding, because mental battles consume enormous energy. Your brain was designed to solve real problems, not imaginary ones. But when overthinking becomes a habit, peace disappears, and the mind becomes a battlefield. Overthinking kills confidence. Confidence grows through action, but overthinking stops action before it even begins. You want to start something new, but then your mind says, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? And suddenly the opportunity disappears, not because it was impossible, but because the mind created fear around it. Many dreams never fail, they simply die in the prison of overthinking. Overthinking turns small problems into big ones. Life naturally comes with challenges, but overthinking magnifies them. A small disagreement becomes a broken relationship. A small mistake becomes a personal failure. A small uncertainty becomes a life crisis. The mind starts adding stories to situations, stories filled with fear, stories filled with worst-case scenarios, and eventually those stories begin to feel real, even when they are not. The illusion of control. Many people overthink because they want control. They believe if they analyze every possibility, they can avoid pain. But life cannot be controlled that way. Some things will go wrong, some people will leave, some plans will fail, and that's part of being human. Overthinking tries to protect us from uncertainty, but ironically, it only creates more anxiety. True peace comes from acceptance, not control. The power of letting go. The opposite of overthinking is not ignorance, it is trust. Trust that not every problem needs a perfect answer. Trust that mistakes are part of growth. Trust that life can still be beautiful even when everything is uncertain. Sometimes the mind needs silence, not more thoughts. Sometimes the best decision is simply to stop analyzing and start living. Closing message. If you are someone who overthinks, you are not alone. Many deep thinkers struggle with the same battle. But remember this, your mind is a powerful tool. It was never meant to be your prison. Life is happening right now, in this breath, in this moment, not in yesterday's regrets, not in tomorrow's worries. So tonight, let the mind rest, let the silence speak, and allow yourself to experience life without thinking it to death. Because happiness is not found in perfect answers, it is found in peaceful moments. And sometimes, peace begins with a single decision: to stop overthinking.